Let's start with the prompt. Which choice describes the function of the underlined sentence in the text as a whole? To know the underlined sentence, you need to know the text as a whole. So let's start. This text is adapted from a short story in 1921. John is a child who lives in a town in the woods. Perhaps 10-year-old John was puzzling to the folk there in the Florida woods, for he was an imaginative child and fond of daydreams. The river flowed a scarce 300 feet from his back door. On its banks grow palms, magnolias, and bay trees. On the stream float millions of hyacinths. John loved to wander down to the water's edge and, casting in dry twigs, watch them sail away downstream to Jacksonville, the sea, the wide world, and he wanted to follow them. So the background is that there's this imaginative child who's puzzling to the people in the Florida woods. He happened to live near the river, and there happened to be all of these flowers floating in the river. He loved to wander down to the water's edge, throw twigs in, and watch them sail away to Jacksonville, the sea, the wide world, and he wanted to follow them. So he was watching things go far away. He was imagining how far. It was piquing his imagination, and he wanted to go with them. He wanted to explore the world. So let's look at answer choice A. Provides an extended description of a location. The underlined portion, the part that I'm going to highlight in green right now, that isn't an extended description as much as it is talking about that he had these desires to float away with those objects. B, reveals that some of the residents are confused. There was nothing there about the residents. C, illustrates the uniqueness of his imagination compared to the imagination of other children. We're not really seeing any description of other children, especially in the underlined portion. And D, suggests that he longs to experience a larger life outside the Florida woods. That makes perfect sense because the things were floating to the wide world and he wanted to follow them. So that's answer choice D. That's our answer for this question.